Good afternoon, everyone. I am Denise, and welcome to the Construction Technology Update with BCI Central and Hitachi Cooling and Heating. Construction Technology Update is a live online-based presentation of design trends and product innovations. And moderating our session today is the wonderful Sharanjit Lale, a renowned international broadcaster. Sharanjit, over to you.
Well, thank you so much for that, Denise. And thank you all for joining us here today for what promises to be a rich discussion about how each of you here today can be part of one of the most important transformations of our lifetimes, making our buildings more sustainable. Now, in most cities, buildings contribute up to 2/3 of all carbon emissions. If we're going to rein in emissions, the way we construct and operate buildings must change. And that is what we're talking about here today. The opportunities that smart tech is creating to create better, more efficient buildings. And to set the scene, we have a short video showing a little of what's possible.
大路ホテルでは全館日立様製の VRF システムを導入。特に客室、レストラン、スパエリア等にはヒートリカバリータイプを採用し、国内外ゲストの大会温度調節に適切に対応できるようになっております。室外機が室内機負荷に迅速に反応するため、適切な容量制御により省エネにつながり、高く評価しております。以上、これらの日立様製の設備によって売上高光熱費を大幅に削減、経済性にも優れた建築物にできたことも日立様のイノベーティブな提案があってのことと認識しております。また開業5年以上経ちますが、今まで故障らしきこともありません。
Well, what a truly amazing hotel that is, truly thrilling stuff. And to guide us through this world of opportunity, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our two expert panelists here today. We have Lawrence Chu, who's the Director of Design and Controls of IoT Product Management at Johnson Controls Hitachi Air Conditioning. And we have Dr. Vincent Cheng, a fellow at Arup and their Director of Sustainability for East Asia. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us today. Now, first off, Vincent, I'll start with you. I mean, we know the concept of sustainability in buildings isn't new, but of course, the momentum behind it is. Why is this getting more attention than ever before?
Good afternoon to our friend joining online, and thanks for having me here today. So, I think we all know that the issues around climate change has become more imminent globally. Indeed, sustainable buildings is now becoming kind of a global trend and get a lot of traction support from different sectors and stakeholders worldwide. There are many, I would say, drivers that help us to move in this quick. I mean, firstly, that we saw a kind of rapid shift in government's policy towards carbon reductions. In particular, we know that in recent months, not recent years, but most, I would say, regional country, that they already have made their commitments on either a drastic cut in carbon emissions or actually achieve that carbon neutrality by end of this mid of this century. So that actually create a lot of traction, momentum within the country, and these no doubt will sooner or later cascade down, become a kind of policy implementation agendas. And secondly, we also see the kind of support from business sector, and that's actually quite surprising things to me. Is that you probably have heard in recent events happening in Glasgow, that COP26, that that actually get a financial kind of firms that's managing over 130 trillions of US kind of dollars funds that they have actually joined kind of a net zero pledge. So you can see kind of a support from the business sector is tremendous. So that's why nowadays the I would say ESG investments are becoming we say norm actually, and getting more and more I would say support and momentum from the financial sector, and help to transform our building sector as well. So I think green finance will sooner or later become the kind of most important kind of financing mechanism for our buildings in the coming years. And thirdly, I think it's also important that we start to get the sense that almost all people worldwide have this kind of ideas what global change, climate change, or global warming means to them, and that's why many of them actually are very seriously take that and also support the kind of initiative that initiate either public sector or private sector. So I think all in all that we see the kind of quite rare that in our building sector, all the stakeholders actually are aligned on this, I would say, carbon reduction or decarbonization process. So that actually help us create a lot of opportunities for us to work on, and more importantly, to engage all the people to help to save the world.
Yeah, certainly there are many, many opportunities. So Lawrence, let's bring you in. What's your take? What else do you see driving this interest?
Hello, calling in from Shanghai. Very well said, Vincent. I believe that we're right. Sustainability in building is certainly not new, but the opportunities to realize sustainability in a building with better support and higher convenience is. And in order to drive it, I think there's a certain level of endorsement from a macro influence level that I think Vincent already touched on. And these macro influence are top down, supported by the government from the UN. And with these support, there is a possibility to rebuild a business case out of this, which wasn't always the same. To build a business case now is a lot more possible. And I guess the goal is to finance this in a undisputable way, and finally reaching to some alignment to do this together. I believe sustainability is finally reaching some level of critical mass where there's a lot of awareness around.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a lot more awareness, as you say. And you know, Lawrence, I mean, we know topics like AI and IoT are often hyped well before they start delivering on their promises. So what sort of efficiency improvements are we seeing smart tech deliver to buildings already?
Yes. Now, with, I guess, smart tech or any HVAC tech, the ultimate objective that we seek is comfort for people. And with the smart controls, operation efficiency is actually possible in new grounds. And tech today combines machine learning as well as artificial intelligence to look at indoor and outdoor temperature, to both predict, calculate, that recommends temperature setting, which wasn't really available in the traditional sense of control. And this type of adjustments, different from traditional way where you would have to manually turn on and off, and then sometimes you would forget about an environment that you turn off after usage. So now with smart tech, you're able to think free and just focus on the task at hand, and the building actually is smart for you to drive energy and building efficiency. So this altogether, it's micro and macro adjustment in an HVAC building. Smart tech is an amplifier for other tech improvements. VRF, for example, offer huge savings of VAV systems, but smart controls built even more on these gains. And we have some examples that some of the early adopters in growth markets that are actually using our systems. And maybe I go ahead and share some of these examples with you guys. I'm going to share my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes. So this is an example of a case in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, where this apartment building, luxury apartment building, beautiful by the seashore, is leveraging some of our smart controls using VRF, and the ability to remotely schedule temperature of various occupancy, and to enhance comfort for the building is the objective. And of course, aside from apartments, we also have sites in the supermarkets, and as well as retail space. This is a coffee cafe, and it uses it for a different purpose, but all the same to leverage smart controls within a building. I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'll hand the mic back to you, Saranjit.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm sure, we all agree we'd love to be able to work and live in buildings like that. Vincent, what's your take on this? I mean, how do you see IoT already changing the way that your teams are planning and designing buildings?
Well, from technical point of views, we see it's actually the data that we are after that can help to manage a building more efficiently. I think right now that we know that IoTs and other devices actually help us to collect a lot of useful informations. And if you may show that the diagram, actually we are actually developing this kind of new generation of smart buildings worldwide. That for commercial and also for residential buildings. If you can see, from the left-hand side, that the IoT sensor actually work with in conjunction with the BMS system to provide the kind of data on the operation environments of the system. And the BIM model they actually provide where are these equipments or system located, and they also provide the kind of information, interactive information with the user, so that that information can be graphically present in the more articulable way. And before you can actually have to control the building, you need the brain, which is the AI solver. I'm here in the firm that we use this neuron, our AI solver, to help us to digest all this data and do number crunchings and do the different scenario kind of analysis and come up with information that can predict. That's very important. The predictive capability is very important. Predict the building term performance, and using that to control, to optimize the building operations. So in many of the applications that in this part of the world, that we found that these kind of optimization and also the predictability and serviceability and controllability can actually help as high as 30% of energy. So I mean, these, I think it's very important that we need to engage I would say the industry work on. Traditionally, these kind of processes have to be done manually. So you have the skills workers, they work day and night and shift and free shift probably to work, to collect, and then to do analysis and optimization of system. So but with the help of the IoT and AI and other control mechanism that actually help a lot to optimize things, and more importantly, that can provide the kind of predictive kind of capabilities, which is very useful for many of the time many of clients who would like to see what will the future scan scenario look like. So I think this AI and also IoT actually really help a lot to implement concept which is not possible in the past.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we know that AI, IoT, these are all smart technologies, which are just, really one element that underpins sustainability, which is what we're talking about here today. So what are you seeing, Vincent, as some of the barriers to sustainable designs that are being lowered?
Well, we know that most of these, I would say, smart or sustainable concepts that are new, they will create a kind of disruptive solutions, and I would say many of this current current regulation may not be able to help to promote these applications. So for example, we try to promote the kind of use of kind of diesel or biomass to be used for lower carbon footprint of buildings, but actually will challenging the kind of current, I would say, environmental requirements, whereby that building are not allowed actually in downtown area, not allowed to do any kind of combustions activity. So that's actually areas that we have to work on. Likewise, worldwide we promote the use of more timber to lower the embodied carbons of construction materials. But using timber actually will also instigate the kind of issues, I would say, on code, building code on controlling the structural integrity and also file protection. So these are kind of areas that we have to work together with building controller in order to promote kind of wider applications. So besides that, we also see the need of alignment within our industry to promote more on this kind of smart and also sustainable system being deployed. I mean, we know that these are new, and we have a lot of good, I would say, solution provider like Hitachi. They have a lot of great ideas. But our industry, I mean, it's still working and I would say not that forefront, and our contractor in particular, they need to be educated. I mean, they need to be aligned. They need to be collaborate with our solution provider in order to create the kind of seamless kind of collaborations or coordinations, so that I mean these kind of innovative system can be deployed or can be implemented, smoothly in the market. So there's still kind of coordination or alignment within the industry before we can massively, I would say, deploy on this system in the market. And finally, there's another area of constraint that probably will affect its wider applications, which is on the data itself, as the data securities and also the privacy issues. On the one hand, that we want to create as open as possible the platform so that we can engage more people, to help to work together. But on the other hand, if we open the system, that would be prompt to kind of issues like, for example, the data leak or other possible kind of cyber attack kind of things from happening. So we have to strike a balance how we can provide a safe kind of virtual or cloud-based kind of environment, at the same time protect the kind of data securities of our clients. And that's.
Yeah, that's an absolutely crucial thing that many people are worried about today, aren't they? Now, we, of course, Lawrence, when we think about sustainable buildings, many people often think about design, but of course, operation is just as important to sustainability. So tell us a little bit about how smart tech is changing what is possible.
Yes, you're right. When people thinking about sustainable building, they probably think of green rooftop or solar panels. And the operation is not really discussed, but design in essence lives all throughout the building, and operation is equally important. And our objective, I guess, with smart tech is to create a sense of awareness to the operation. Now, Vincent had touched on the data end of it. And ultimately, what smart tech brings and promise is this enrichment of data around the interaction with the building, which in the past was limited to maybe a tiny screen on a wall or on the table with a remote control. And the data set is very limited, and it's very siloed. You may understand one sector of the building and not holistically. But with smart tech, you are not only able to understand groups and floors, but buildings or multiple buildings simultaneously. And so the interaction of user experience on a human-centric perspective is what smart tech promises. Now, with cloud-based HVAC equipment, it's also easier to install with significantly less wiring. And predictive is a word that I think is more or less a buzzword within the community. But predictive is an objective. Now, in the past, where maintenance required a regular cadence, and sometimes you're not quite sure what to expect in the field. But with predictive maintenance, you can actually anticipate and understand failure before they happen, which enhances the durability of the device. And any failed equipment is not good for sustainability because you're not really operating in an optimal manner. Now, with over-the-air software update, so this balances hardware and software. And in the past, if you want new features, that always meant you have to buy something new. You have to reinstall something new. And with over-the-air update, you're able to bring more functionality out of something that already has been installed or exists. This is happening not only in HVAC industry, in the entire IoT tech industry, of course. Software is enabling or renewing usage for continuous use. Now, all of this, lead to the radical thinking of building management, and through models such as cooling as a service, make efficient devices more accessible, and it encourages products to be used or reused. And in the long term, HVAC building equipment likely to be able to be more service-based. And it's the only way that we see to ensure standard of quality progressively aligned with net zero targets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really fascinating concept, isn't it? As you've been saying, we know cooling as a service as well is a truly fascinating demonstration of the new models that can underpin wider adoption of sustainable building principles. And sustainable building can mean higher upfront costs. So Vincent, tell us a little bit about what you've seen are the most effective techniques for generating stakeholder buy-in for sustainable approaches.
Indeed, I mean, ROI is still the kind of major considerations for developer when they're considering which green or smart technology to invest. I think these days that they're still looking for kind of low-hanging fruit to start with. But gradually, we also see some actually moving faster, and they actually consider kind of long-term benefits, in particular on the long-term saving on their investment. So that's why that the life cycle consideration are becoming more and more, I would say, popular or acceptable to our client. In particular, I mean, many of them actually looking for solutions or design that can help them to free from the kind of troubles of maintenance during the whole life cycle of the buildings. And that's why that when they hear about this predictive kind of maintenance capabilities, that they are actually very receptive to this kind of concept. So I think very importantly that we need to get a kind of method to articulate these values, and convey that kind of message well to the decision maker who will make the kind of right decision for the firm in the long runs. On the other hand, we also see the kind of the decision maker also consider the reputations of the firm more and more important. In particular, that these days most of those listed company, they need to develop their ESG kind of reports, so they see this kind of green or sustainable or even smart technology very important, and help them to communicate with their stakeholders. So now they're very keen get kind of building label or certifications by international labels such as LEED and WELL, so that they can effectively communicate with the stakeholders, in particular their tenants. They themselves also like to get a space that's been certified under this international standards, and help them actually to talk to their own staff and retain the talents of their people. That's why this kind of green label help a lot to attract, say, quality tenants to rent space, be it office or retails, and that actually help indirect or directly to use more green and also sustainable designs. We also see at the same time the kind of more active participations from the people, the user themselves. That in the old days, that I mean, you and me sitting in the office, that we have no say, on what sort of I would say environments that we can be working on. So I'm these say that with the help of digital technologies, we can provide a lot of information on how well or how effective, I mean, the environment or the system been working, and more importantly, that this kind of interactive capabilities can link up the user and also the operator well, so that they can also help to create a kind of environments that not only safeguard the health and well-being of themselves, but more importantly to help the building as a whole to save a lot of money. So that's why these days that we hear a lot from our clients that they actually are more prepared to work on more provision, provide more provisions on device or system that can enhance the indoor air qualities and also provide more kind of flexibility, to the occupants to control their own space so that they can stay healthier and so happier while they're working.
Yeah, that is so crucial. I mean, I heard what you said about ESG, and certainly that is becoming much more important these days. And of course, the health and the environment is crucial too. Lawrence, what about you? What do you see as the most powerful way to get stakeholders on board with these approaches?
So I think stakeholders need to understand that driving sustainability requires not only resources, but some vision as well, and care. We need to understand that there's no way around new building initiatives unless we are contributing to net zero targets. And the ROI is what Vincent spoke about. It's an ultimate factor. It needs to also make business, and there is a good business model around this. Now, I guess part of it is we probably need to move away from the traditional product development model where you develop and you enable purchase, and it's a start and stop cycle that doesn't enable recurring revenue or deeper relationship with the clients. Moving away from a product model and maybe into a service model that is more progressive, that approaches to the building's sustainability targets with support oversight. And that kind of repositions building management as with a deeper relationship with the customer. So this supports the overall health of the building sustainability footprint. So this is the type of position that maybe stakeholders could gravitate towards. And in the future, these partnerships will seek to help support the digital transformation that many organizations seek to have, which enables accessibility and build longer-term credibility of smart tech that runs and works seamlessly with users' needs.
Yeah, it's again something that we are so excited about, the possibility that all of the smart tech is bringing these solutions. But Lawrence, it seems that the most sustainable buildings have not only a different relationship with their environment, which is what we've been talking about, but also with their occupants. Why does sustainable design need to be human-centered, and what does that actually look like in practice?
Mm-hmm. So the values of what being human-centered means is to maintain well-being and comfort of occupants. And we believe that people are the epicenter of why solutions need to exist. So improving life and advocating for positive change through technology is appropriate for use. Needs to be aligned with business, and this is where human-centered design methodology comes in. There are many touch points that actually needs to be considered when investing in sustainability. There is a whole product life cycle that we need to also think about, and in this life cycle, we need to be continuously asking questions that breaks the larger problem into problems that we can solve to contribute to sustainability. And it's not like investing in sustainability means I invest in a switch and to turn on sustainability and it's hands off. It requires more effort and it requires collaboration, as Vincent also pointed out. It requires various education in different portion of this team that makes it happen. In practice, it requires deep empathy to understand what constitutes a building's overall carbon footprint, then evaluating data and ideating solutions that is important to customers and feasible to be executed. So yeah, this is human-centered design as a whole.
Yeah, I love what you said about deep empathy and how that's so important. So Vincent, what are your favorite examples of sustainable design that puts people first?
Yeah, indeed, people-centric design is getting more and more popular, in the design world. But in fact, worldwide, that this is one of our design overarching principles on delivering kind of sustainable buildings worldwide. So I'd like to use one of our recent projects to illustrate the concept. Basically, this is a new project that just won the Grand Awards of Hong Kong Green Building Council's Advanced Net Zero competitions. As you can see, that it's very green. It's very, I would say, nature-based kind of design, and more importantly, that it's provide a lot of interconnection between people and also people with nature. So I think, firstly, for us, I mean, people-centric designs needs to safeguard the health and well-being of the people at the end of the day, and buildings that actually to help rather than cause any damages to the people. So I think with that kind of concept, people are more kind of prepared to listen and also follow kind of practice of instructions that will direct affect their own kind of well-beings. And in particular, with this kind of prevailing, COVID's kind of pandemic situations, this kind of mentalities have strengthened even further. So I think these say that we have to provide a lot better kind of IQs with a lot more kind of fresh air, so that people actually will still be safe when they stay in interior space. Second, I think people-centric design should also make, more importantly, people happier, and that's also very important. That if people happy, they're more, even more willing, to support kind of passive design, which we have shown in this diagram, that people will be more, willing to apply daylight and also natural ventilations for their operating the space they're occupying. So which is I think is instrumental when we say that we want to change kind of behaviors of people. So I mean that with this kind of hardware and also software provisions together with the digital means to interact these people, and then these help a lot to implement the concept what we have been advocating for so long, what we call nature-based kind of design, and be reflected and be implemented in the building. So I think that's is also important. I think third, I think more importantly, not necessarily only to the user themselves, but more for the tenant, or the owner themselves. That the building provided with higher, I would say, controllabilities on the environments for the user, on the space they're occupying, be it the lighting environments, noise environments, airflow, IQ, and humidity control, that sort of things. If they could control their space with at their own view, that definitely that will help them happier, and that the kind of user experience will be very, very different. When you enhance kind of a user, I would say, satisfactions, that by itself will improve the productivities of the staff, and that actually been investigated a lot in the past worldwide. And that's so with this kind of enhanced environments, enhance contribuabilities, and enhance productivities. I mean, the owner and also the tenants will be easier and quicker to make their decisions on which facilities they were going to move in, and because those who can enhance the productivities definitely will help to enhance the profitabilities of the company, because that reduce the cost on the labors. So I mean, these kind of I would say enabler actually help a lot to promote the wider use of be it sustainable or smart kind of technology in buildings.
Well, thank you for that, and great to hear both of you and your insights, and also to learn a little bit about some of the projects that you've been working on. Now, this, I think, is an ideal spot to pause and bring in the audience into this discussion. I see that some of you have already asked some very interesting questions. I will get to them shortly. We've got just a little bit more than 10 minutes till the end of the session. But if anyone else wants to ask any more questions, remember at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A button, which allows you to ask questions to the panelists. And as I mentioned, we've just got slightly over 10 minutes to hear about these questions and their responses. So let's start with the first one from Kok Chan Kwong. And he asked the question about climate change and how it could bring about higher ambient temperatures and high humidity, which would devastate the health of more senior members of the society. A very important issue. So how would AI and smart building systems help to mitigate the impact of heat island effect in an urban city? Now, Lawrence, I think this would be quite a good one for you. Would you want to answer this question?
Sure. I certainly think AI would help, but global warming is happening, and I don't think that we can look away from that. But the way that we could make indoor air quality better for senior citizens, and AI actually, it's a way to make that intuitive for senior citizens, to be more inclusive. Imagine it's a very hot room, and senior citizens are rambling to adjust indoor temperature control. That's not ideal, and that's maybe a scenario where AI could come in. It would understand the outdoor temperature relative with the indoor temperature and adjust based on comfort. And so I think these are things that we see happening in the future. And hopefully they are not isolating projects, that they're happening in combination to a city where heat island cities are addressing the concerns of cooling holistically. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Vincent, do you have any response to that question as well?
Yeah, indeed. Many of our clients that will ask this question in all the new developments. I think there's actually two issues. First is on what we call the community-wide kind of heat stress problem. That's worldwide, and that's probably like Singapore, that we are creating what we call sensing city kind of system. So I mean, city-wise, that we have a lot of sensor to detect our environment's kind of performance, in particular air qualities, temperatures, humidities, and so on and so forth. I mean, with that sort of information that I think most governments, Singapore governments or Hong Kong government actually, or many other smart city, operator, they will provide this what we call a common data platform. I mean, this common data platform will enable all the applications to tap in. So all the kind of smart device provider or anyone that who want to make use of this data, they can tap to this data and use this data to prompt those really heavily heated by this kind of heat stress. So that's sort of a common data platform is very important, and to enable our practitioner, to work together to provide the kind of informations that are accessible and at affordable kind of a way for those people who are really in need. And whereas the other side on the indoor kind of environment, I don't see that's really kind of a big problem unless the temperature is elevated to a level that our AC could not handle. That I think will be a very, very extreme cases. And based on what we current kind of projections, that it will be need another probably few decades before the system will reach a level that our AC has to be retrofits, otherwise it will not operate. But the elevated temperature itself does affect on the thermal energy efficiency of the system. There's a study here found that if you have average temperature rise by 2 degrees, outdoor temperature average rise at 2 degrees, we actually will run into situations that our energy used on AC will be raised by 200%. So 2 degrees is not a small number. Actually, that will affect first of all outdoor activities. When you have outdoor activities come live and death situations, and you operate inside the buildings, that will actually create a lot of energy issues that has to deal with.
Right. We just have a few more minutes. In fact, I think we only have time for one more question. So I'll try to squeeze this question in. There's a great question by Cheryl, and she asked, can you explain a little more about modeling costs when it comes to smart technologies like these? Because of course, cost, as you've been talking about, is a big factor as well. Who wants to pick up on this quickly?
Well, let me try that. We actually have recently, studied this issues seriously. Our work with Sustainable Building Council, Sustainable Development Council, on how life cycle wise these be carbon or cost, incur on different stage of the buildings, and we found out that the operating stage, the embodied costs or embodied carbons will account for around 70%. So whoever that in particular building owner are serious on their cost plan, they have a look into that the operating stage kind of maintenance and also operating energies. So we all know that the upfront cost is a big issue, but just imagine if you have to run the buildings for another 60 years or even longer, that sort of life cycle cost will be even more alarming. So I think that's it's a way I think the our practitioner needs to be work harder in order to reflect all these life cycle costs truly to the client.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that. Thank you for those insights. And there's just way too many questions now for us to be able to get to all of them. But thank you all to everyone who's asked us questions. If we haven't been able to get to your questions, somebody from the team will be in touch with you to respond to your specific queries. So thank you once again, audience, for those great questions. And thank you, Vincent Lawrence, for some incredible insights and for sharing that, as well as your experiences with us here today. And I hope you've all taken some ideas from here that you can use to help you build a more sustainable future, certainly something that we all need. And at this point, I will hand it back to Denise.
Thank you, Sharanjit. Well, that was a most enriching session. Thank you, Sharanjit, Lawrence, and Vincent. We are almost at the end of today's session, but before you go, please fill out the survey form by scanning the QR code on the screen or by clicking on the link in the chat box. The Construction Technology Update is supported by Construction Plus, and we are excited to announce that we have a new user experience for Construction Plus app, providing you with the same quick access to read our digital magazines and new features, including a direct access to Construction Plus websites, saving articles and sharing them with your friends and colleagues, new ways to connect to Construction Plus, social media platforms, and a smoother reading experience of Construction Plus magazines. You can scan and download the app from Google Play Store and Apple App Store. And for all of our attendees today, you will be given a complimentary 1-month membership to read the Construction Plus digital magazines on the upgraded apps. By next week, you will receive an email with your access information. Once again, a huge thank you to all of you for joining us and making this event a success. We wish everyone the best of health and look forward to seeing you at the next Construction Technology Update. Stay safe and take care.